Hello, great people. Welcome back to Testify with Vicky. This is a place where real people share real stories, stories of faith, stories of healing, and stories of restoration. And today's episode, it's one of heartbreak, one of addiction and restoration. It's about a man who had a divine encounter, a man who met God, not in a cathedral, not in a church, but in a broken place with a needle in his arm and a prayer on his lips. And his name is Mr. Rob. When he sent his story and I read it, I was like, wow, God is really, really in the business of, changing lives. God is still in the business of transforming lives. I wasn't always the kind of guy you want to sit next to. People used to cross the street when they saw me coming, not because I was dangerous, but because I looked like a man who had nothing left. No home, no hope, just hollow eyes and the stench of rock bottom trailing behind me like smoke. But what broke me didn't start with drugs or jail or sleeping under bridges. It started quietly in a house where love was scarce and survival was daily warfare. My earliest memories aren't warm. I remember standing in the corner of our living room as my mother screamed at her second husband. He was drunk again, slamming doors, breaking things, calling her names I didn't understand yet. I was about 7 then, too young to know what was really going on, but old enough to feel the fear settle deep in my bones. She'd already left my real dad by then. He never stayed long anyway. Her second marriage ended like the first, violent, chaotic, and traumatic. Then came the third man who didn't hit her but hit me. He said it was discipline. But when you're getting whipped with a wire for forgetting to greet properly, you know it's something else. I never had a stable home. We moved so often I stopped unpacking fully. My mom was trying her own broken way, but love doesn't land where trauma sleeps. She didn't know how to hold space for my emotions, only how to silence them. By 15, I stopped trying to be the good son. The street welcomed me with open arms and the wrong crowd felt like family because, for once, I felt visible, I felt seen and embraced. I took my first hit at a party in someone's unfinished apartment. One puff turned into many. We laughed till morning. For the first time, I felt nothing, and that felt like peace. But it didn't take long for it to become my prison. Weed led to pills, pills led to heroin, and heroin took everything. I remember the dad stole from my mother. She caught me red-handed. There were tears in her eyes, but no surprise, just disappointment. She didn't yell. She simply said, "You are not my son anymore." That shattered something in me. I spiraled fast after that, sleeping in abandoned buildings, panhandling just to eat, trading shoes for drugs, showering at gas stations. Trust me, hell doesn't have fire. It has silence, shame, withdrawal. Then came the night I tried to end it. I found an old abandoned house on the outskirts of the city. No doors, no windows, just walls smeared with graffiti and loneliness. I cooked up what I thought would be my last high. Sat on a dusty, splintered floor. My hands shook as I tied off my arm. And just before I injected, I whispered, "If there's a God, this is your last chance. Do something or let me die." Everything went black. I woke up in a hospital bed 2 days later. A nurse told me a passerby found me collapsed near the alley behind the old house. I had overdosed. My heart stopped working, but somehow I came back. The doctor called me a miracle, and I didn't feel like one, but a spark, just tiny and unfamiliar, lit up somewhere inside me. Recovery wasn't a straight line. I fought it, left rehab twice, but on my third attempt, I met someone. An old guy named Malik who'd been clean for 12 years, he told me something. He said, you don't heal by hating the person you were. You heal by loving the person you are becoming. He invited me to a church group. I didn't want church. I didn't want sermons, but I went anyway. That place changed everything, not because the people were perfect, but because they were real. They didn't pretend to have it all together. They shared their stories just like I am sharing mine now. And somehow I found God there, not in stained glass windows or altar calls, but in raw conversations, tear-stained prayers, and second chances. Today I've been clean for 4 years. I work at the same recovery center where I first met Malik. I met a young man who remind me of me. My mom and I, we've reconciled, though she still doesn't say much, but she hugs longer now. She came to see me speak last Christmas and we cried. And believe it or not, I lead worship sometimes. Me, the guy who once cast God in an empty house, now sing about his grace in crowded rooms. So if you're reading this thinking you've gone too far, messed up too much, or sunk too deep, hear me. Rock bottom is not the end. Sometimes it's the foundation upon which God builds miracles. Your comeback is closer than you think. Wow, what a journey. Mr. Rob's story reminds us that no matter how deep the pit, grace can still reach us. And no matter how lost we feel, God can still find us. Maybe you're listening today and you feel broken, you feel ashamed, or too far gone. Please hear this. Your story is not over. Redemption is real. Divine intervention is real. Healing is possible. And even from the rock bottom, beauty can arise. Take that first step. Talk to someone. Reach out. Say that prayer. You don't have to have it all together. Just be willing to begin. If Mr. Rock could turn his pen into purpose, you too can do the same. There's a new chapter waiting to be written, and it starts with hope. If this episode touched you, please share with someone who needs to hear it. And if you got a story, a testimony of your own, whether big or small, I'd like to hear it. Head over to the link in the description and send it in. You can never tell whose life your testimony might change. Until next time, keep believing, keep healing, and remember that God still writes the best stories from the ashes. This is Testify with Vicky, and I'll see you in the next episode.